believes ESPN's Zach Lowe.
As a general rule, if Kevin Durant is playing in a basketball game, he's the most important player in the basketball game. We can overthink all these things. This guy's an X factor. What if Karis LeVert has 30 and Evan Mobley's doing this and that? It's Kevin Durant. The guy can win the game by himself. He's maybe the best player in the league, in the world.
Tonight's other play-in game, the Timberwolves host the Clippers. Suns coach Monty Williams voted National Basketball Coaches Association Coach of the Year for a second straight year, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The U.S. House Oversight Committee sent a letter to the Federal Trade Commission, said it found evidence the Washington Commanders engaged in unlawful financial conduct by withholding ticket revenue from visiting teams, as well as refunding ticket deposits from season ticket holders.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Lot to get to today. Maddy Hudak's going to be with us in about 15 minutes. Did a really good job over at Saints Wire with a piece on the Saints safety position. Certainly one they got to look at in the draft. She's coming up in 15 minutes. We'll talk to Feinswog next hour. Kade Beloso is going to be with us in hour 3. LSU baseball senior. As far as I know, this is Cade's first interview he's done since the injury in the season opener. So we'll ask him about that, his comeback, getting an AB last week, again, scrambling, and what we could expect. So excited to have Kade Beloso join us in hour number 3. Speaking of LSU baseball, they were scheduled to play Lamar tonight at the box. Obviously, a lot of inclement weather in the area. That game has been postponed. So no baseball tonight with LSU and Lamar. Tigers were on the practice field today a little before 1 o'clock. And they should be wrapping up right about now, but as we start the show at 3 o'clock Central. So they should be finishing up practice right now. They'll be on the road tomorrow to take on Arkansas on Thursday in a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. So they'll hit the road tomorrow. Game 1 will be Thursday. Something the SEC did a few years ago that I really like. They moved all of the series on Easter weekend to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so nobody plays on Easter. So I think that's it's a good way to do it, and allows everyone to have that holiday. So, and I do like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday series anyway. I wish they would do that uniformly. But in any event, LSU and Arkansas Thursday from up in Fayetteville. LSU real quick, I'm going to get back to Jay Johnson, some of what he had to say on his coach's show last night. But the LSU basketball got some pretty good news today. Mwani Wilkinson announced that he is withdrawing his name from the transfer portal, and he will return to LSU to play for first-year coach Matt McMahon. By now, you all know the story. Will Wade fired. All 13 scholarship players either entered the portal or declared for the draft, and a lot of them are finding new homes. We found out that Brandon Murray is going to Georgetown. That was announced yesterday. We know, obviously, Darius Days, Tari Easton, they're off to the NBA draft. And Mwani, so we're waiting on to see what a lot of the other guys are going to end up doing. But Mwani Wilkinson will be back at LSU, and I think that's a net win for the Tigers. Remember, Mwani kind of made a living off of that corner three. He shot 40% from three. Mwani did this year. 40%. That led the team. He didn't shoot a high volume of threes, but when he could sort of spot up for that corner three, he was darn near automatic. I mean, 40%. I mean, it's a coin flip every time out. For perspective, Tari Eason was second on the team at 35.9% from three, and then Darius Days was at 35%. So Mwani was your best three-point shooter this past season with that corner three. A big question is going to be how much growth sophomore to junior year for Mwani. Didn't play a bunch as a freshman. Started 30 games for LSU this past year. How much growth offensively for Mwani year to year under Matt McMahon? But most importantly, you got a guy with 30 starts under his belt coming back on this team. So you lose all 13 scholarship players initially. Mwani now with 30 starts, it's a veteran player. The other 4 transfers, all veteran players. Justice Hill, of course, coming in from Murray State. Trey Hannibal, who started his career at South Carolina, then went to Murray State and is now at LSU. Kendall Coleman, who's a veteran big from Northwestern State. And Cam Hayes, who we talked about yesterday, comes in from NC State. You've got guys that have played a lot of basketball, Power 5 basketball. Now, Kendall Coleman notwithstanding, but you're building up your roster again with guys who have at least played a lot of basketball. So those 5, and then you add the high school commitment as well. That puts you at 6 scholarship players for this coming season. Not quite halfway yet to a full roster, but getting there. You can see Matt McMahon piecing it together. If there's one other tidbit we did learn today, and John Rothstein tweeted it earlier today, that Eric Gaines has his new home. So Eric Gaines, of course, one of the players that entered the portal, he will not be returning. Eric Gaines has committed to UAB. So he will be playing under former Ole Miss coach Andy Kennedy, who's the head coach there at UAB, who's done a really nice job there with the Blazers. But Eric Gaines, a great defensive player for LSU, super athletic. He'll finish up his career there at UAB in Birmingham under Andy Kennedy. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We're going to get to Maddie Hudak in less than 10 minutes from right now. She did a great piece up at Saints Wire talking about really evaluating the safety position under Dennis Allen and different players and their roles and their strengths. It might be a really good insight into what the Saints are thinking, maybe in free agency, maybe in the draft, or maybe not at all. We'll get to that here shortly. Jay Johnson did have his coach's show last night, and obviously still high praise for his squad coming out of the sweep against Mississippi State.
Yeah, really proud of our team, really proud of every piece of our team. Pitchers did a great job. I mean, to go in there and hold them to 8 runs in 3 games is great. Defensively, we had 0 in the air column on Friday and Sunday, which was awesome to see. I thought we did kind of just enough on offense on Friday and Saturday, and then really broke out with a great game yesterday. I thought they competed hard, and it was a good weekend for us.
Now, there were a couple of significant changes this week. Obviously, one of them was switching Thompson and Doty again. So Doty went to second, Thompson went back to short, where those two guys, I say started the season, but actually Doty started the season at third, then went to second, then short, now back to second. But switching your 2 middle infielders back, Jay Johnson elaborated.
Yeah, I think I just kind of looked at where do we want our team to be at the end of the year and what's the best way for us to get there. And I just have kind of come to this, like, I feel like if we're going to be an Omaha caliber team, I think it has to be with Jordan as the shortstop, because I think he has the physical skills to do it. He certainly has had some struggles, but moving him over to second base, we've been working incredibly hard on fundamentals, incredibly hard on slowing the game down, which he's done and done a nice job of. We actually flipped him over into deep right field to play second base in the shifts against the left-handed hitters. But I think Cade is a better second baseman. I think Jordan is a better shortstop. We just need both those guys to be themselves and play to their capability. And
I think it's a great point. Both of those guys are capable of playing those positions. Cade Doty is capable of playing a solid second base. He had maybe the play of the weekend in the field. Game 1, in the 7th, 1 out, infield in, Raiselman on the bump. You get the hard-hit ground ball with the infield in. Doty dropped to a knee, blocked up the ball, made a strong throw to home. You pegged the runner at the plate. It's a gigantic play. I mean, maybe a series-altering play. He's capable. Jordan Thompson's capable of playing a solid shortstop. He did it last year. As a freshman, he's got to play better. And reps, repetition, comfort will help with all that. So I completely agree with Jay Johnson there. And then also he made the decision on Sunday to start Stevenson in left and Pearson in right. And of course, we saw Josh Pearson win SEC Co-Freshman of the Week honors. But here was Jay Johnson on that move.
The narrative of, hey, getting them experience, that's nothing to do with it. It's like those guys today were the best position to help us win. And I've been wanting to kind of get them in there. Again, we have an old team and wanted to see what we have. And both of them have had some struggles in their own way. When they adjust from high school baseball to SEC, or what I would call the top of Division I baseball, this is the biggest jump in baseball competition that they'll ever see. I believe both of them are going to be pro players. And when they go be pro players, it's going to be a smaller or shorter transition for them. But I think their character really stands out. They're both hard workers. They come from great families. They're both mentally tough. And we've gotten them enough experience where I was comfortable with their ability to just slow the game down and, as you said, be poised and focused on their job, which was to take great at-bats and play good defense in the outfield. And both of them sure did that.
He's absolutely right. So no game today against Lamar. It's a little disappointing because I would have really loved to have seen those two young guys get another crack at it against air quotes lesser competition before the Arkansas series, but they just did it on the road in Starkville. So go do it on the road again in Fayetteville against Arkansas this weekend. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're aboard with us. We do have more baseball on the rundown. Again, we'll talk to Kade Beloso in hour number 3. We're looking forward to that. Let me knock out a quick break. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. Or WilliamsonEye.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. You want to be able to see without contacts or glasses, no matter your age or refractive issue, there's a way to do it. The Williamson Eye Center can help. Again, I've told you so many times, my dad had RK back in the early 90s. Well, he had a lens replacement with Dr. Blake. Hester had LASIK during his playing days. His eye continued to age a little bit, had some other issues. PRK was perfect for him. For me, it was LASIK. More than 3 years ago, I'm still seeing better than 2020. If you want to see 2020, you want to wake up in the morning and just be able to see and not have to worry about reaching for those glasses, those readers, looking at a menu at night using the flashlight on your phone. I've seen Ott do it before. Not anymore. He had the lens replacement with Dr. Blake Williamson as well. Go for that consultation. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. All right, it's after further review. Let's talk some Hudak with Hudak next on AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front to Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier.
My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're inching closer to the NFL draft. 2 weeks from Thursday, it'll get underway out in Vegas. There's some very obvious needs the Saints have. They need to address left tackle. They need to address a wide receiver to complement Mike Thomas. I think it's pretty obvious they need to address defensive tackle. They need a starting caliber player there. Safety is really an interesting one because you've seen both of your starting safeties leave now, one in free agency, one to retirement. You've supplemented that position with two players, with obviously Marcus May, and then you bring in Justin Evans as well. But are they done? Maddy Hudak did a really comprehensive piece, which is up at Saints Wire, a part of the USA Today network, analyzing the safeties on the roster and the safeties that the Saints lost and maybe what Dennis Allen is looking for at that position in particular. It's a deep dive. Would highly recommend, if you're interested, go give it a read. But Maddy's here to basically give us the Cliffs Notes of all of that if you're lazy and you don't want to go read it. Maddy, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry that I kind of sound like a chimney. Allergies are awful here.
That's quite all right. A Claritin or an Allegra every morning helps tremendously. I've been on that regimen for years now, but just every 6 months or so, every 6 weeks, I think you're supposed to alternate. So just a pro tip if you need the help.
Good to know.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let me start this way. Do you think the Saints are done at safety? Are they content with who they have on their roster right now?
I'd say no, only because kind of looking at Dennis Allen's comments at the owners' meeting this offseason, saying that he's kind of looking for two safeties with interchangeable skill sets. That's a pretty strong deviation from what they had with Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins. And to me, they kind of satisfied the Malcolm Jenkins, box run support role with Marcus May from the Jets. But losing that true free safety and the range that Marcus Williams had, they do have, a sum of parts in Gardner Johnson's blitzing abilities. PJ Williams can do the same thing. And Justin Evans, who was their signing from Tampa Bay, has upside, but he's only played 24 games. So to say that he would be, a starting free safety doesn't really make sense. And then to me, putting PJ Williams in, a two-back set with Marcus May doesn't really play to either of their skill sets. So could they do it? Yes. But it reminds me of the cornerback role last year where the dominoes kind of fell, where Ken Crawley was the addition and then he got injured. Patrick Robinson retired, and they really found something in Paulson Dabo, who was kind of one of those sneaky draft finds. And so I would look to them to kind of do the same thing at safety, given how that other role unfolded last offseason.
Okay, so do you think and I'll go into some particulars here in a second, but do you think they address safety in the draft? Or, and you did share a quote from Dennis Allen saying he'd like to build the roster through the draft and augment in free agency. Is this a spot where you think they need to build through the draft or augment in free agency?
I would say build through the draft because they've already kind of augmented in free agency. And to me, if you were going to do that, you would have just paid Marcus Williams in the first place. But seeing as they, let him walk, yes, Tyrann Mathieu's out there, and for the right price, I do think that could work. And so that could be something that if they don't get the player that they were kind of looking at in the draft, trying to kind of pick him up afterwards. But Mickey Loomis's comment about thinking they can get 3 players in their top 20 to 25 in those first picks at 16, 19, and 49, and knowing that one of their needs is the safety role, and kind of seeing that there are multiple options that would fit with the team, I could also see a scenario where they trade up from 49, kind of just get the safety they want and get out of Dodge, out of this draft. But I wouldn't miss out on some of these prospects if I were them.
Okay, we'll get to maybe some of the prospects if you have names that you like in just a quick second. But I want to run through some of what you did here in the piece at Saints Wire. Can you just start with your thesis, what the idea was behind why you went into such a deep dive into all of these players and their particular positions?
Yeah, and it was really Dennis Allen's comment about wanting two safeties with interchangeable skill sets, because that to me was so different from such a defined starting strong and free safety that they've had now for seasons. And so kind of looking back and assessing who they've signed at the position, I was curious because I did like what I saw from Justin Evans. And so looking at his film made me kind of want to look more. And I had looked initially at Marcus May when they signed him. Everyone had kind of said that was relevant to the Marcus Williams departure, but to me that never really added up with his skill set. And Malcolm Jenkins, going down to the veteran minimum salary, that was kind of an indication that he was looking to retire. So I've kind of been building this, not really sure where it was going, to be honest with you, until I really went through all the film, and then starting to track who the Saints have been visiting and who they've spoken with. That kind of put me on to this might be, something they were actually looking at in the draft. And so looking at Allen's initial comment about those two interchangeable safeties, that's not something that exists on the roster as of now. So I kind of wanted to see what they could bring to the table in the current group, but to see if that analysis held up with, what he called his perfect world scenario.
All right, we'll get into what that perfect world scenario is in just a quick second. By the way, she's on Twitter at Maddy, at Maddy Hudak _94. That's MADDYHUDAK. I was most intrigued reading through it when you kind of went through the film on Justin Evans, because obviously the Saints have typically leaned on the NFC South in free agency, and this is a guy, though, still that I'm not super familiar with. So how does Justin Evans fit in this defense?
He has the mentality to me, first and foremost. He's just a playmaker, and he really wants to make plays on the ball. He was really eager to try to break up passes, make interceptions, and I'd rather have a safety going for it and missing Emery so often than one who kind of likes to sit back and hang off the screen and, kind of just sit in that free safety role. He showed, a willingness to really want to come up and attack. And I think that aggressive mentality from Demario Davis, Quan Alexander, they lose some of that with Malcolm Jenkins, but, Marshawn Lattimore, there's just so many guys on that defense that are really formidable and opposing people. And he had that aggressive nature to me. He wanted to come up and make tackles, which can be a concern with his injury history. But trait speaking, he, to me, is more well-rounded than Marcus May as looking at it from a prospect perspective. And I think that's a good point, too, with the NFC South matchup. They saw him play multiple times. But I just saw him really ball hawking more often than not.
So one of the points that I've kind of said throughout all this is why not? You could, theoretically, kick Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back to free, and you could play Bradley Roby at nickel, and then you've got your 5 best defensive backs on the field all at one time. Why would that not be a best option for this defense?
Well, they've really always wanted to highlight player strengths and use them for what they're good at rather than trying to fit them in a square peg in a circle hole kind of thing. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he has that twitch that you want in a slot corner, that really short quickness where he can blitz, get to the quarterback, and handle the slot receiver. And so for him to have all of those cultivated skills and really a defined role, to me, putting him back there, you never really see him operating in a range type situation. So I'm not entirely sure that, his closing quickness is there, that he can accelerate long. Chris Richard is a very good coach, and I think they have the right staff to be able to make it work. But again, it would be one of those things where you're not utilizing the player for what they're best at. And that seems to be kind of what turned this defense around when Dennis Allen came back in 2015. It was, well, what is this player good at, and how can we lean on that rather than fill a weakness with a player that might not be the best fit?
We talked about Tyrann Mathieu. Is it Tyrann, or is there another free agent out there that you look at and say, yep, that fits what they want to do?
I'd have to look again, just because I haven't really looked through free agency, but just keeping that philosophy again in mind, where they like to augment in free agency but really build through the draft, and that the intent behind that trade with the Eagles, they are clearly looking at several players, but Mickey Loomis had also noted that was a cap management strategy moving forward, and they're trying not to keep kicking the can down the road. And so to me, whoever would be on the market, either if they're affordable, then they're probably not that much of an impact player. And if they're not affordable, then that doesn't really seem to be the best move when you could get a much cheaper prospect in the top 50 at that point.
I hear you, but the day they stop kicking the can down the road is the day I probably kick the bucket. Man, I just don't believe I'm ever going to see it, at least not with this leadership in this organization. It's just their philosophy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just I don't know that we're. I mean, do you agree? Like, do you ever think we'll see the day where they stop, as long as Mickey Loomis is in place, where they stop approaching their roster this way?
Oh no, I mean, and that move was aggressive. That trade up it's not a passive reload type of thing. I think they're just kind of looking through a different lens. And so I'm with you where I'm not willing to get rid of old parameters or think that something different is going to happen here. It's just, if you were going to pay a safety, why not pay Marcus Williams in the first place?
Yeah.
And they brought in Tyrann Mathieu. He would fit in terms of being a good complement to Marcus May. So again, unless there is an incredible free safety out there and then you just make Marcus May the strong one, you have to kind of find one that can play in the box and can cover a little bit. And Matthew would fit that bill. And so to me, going past that in free agency, unless I'm totally missing someone, would kind of just seem like a reach.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be talking about expensive veterans. I mean, Tyrann is one. You could certainly Alabama. Why am I blanking? Alabama Redskins or Washington football team from New Orleans. I'm blanking. Anyway, works out attraction. I'm totally blanking on his name. Someone will post. You know what I'm talking about?
My cat's climbing on me, so I.
No worries.
Get her away from my keyboard.
Landon Collins. I don't know why that totally went to a black hole in my brain as far as big name free agents. But all right, two more things for you. Maddy Hudak's our guest. When you break down all the numbers like you did in graph form and everything, did you have a big takeaway?
My takeaway was that it's better than I think the initial impression was. I think, again, the Marcus May signing got kind of incorrectly tied to Marcus Williams leaving, and people kind of saying he's not a free safety, and then Malcolm Jenkins retired, and it made a lot more sense. And I think that T.J. Williams, what you really saw his jump last year, that really stuck out to me. But I just really wanted to see, what they're losing when you lose both the strong and the free at the same time, and try to kind of make it up with four hodgepodge guys. It's kind of like Moneyball in a way, where you're looking to solve some needs and trying to find players that fit the bill there. And so I just really wanted to see where the biggest loss was. And it was surprisingly not anything that stuck out that much other than, kind of forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, and tackles for loss, which is why, if I'm looking at draft prospects, I'm kind of looking at those aggressive ones at this point.
All right, last question then. Who are the guys in the draft that you like?
Yeah, so I really like Jaquan Brisker. I think that he has the versatility. I think that he's aggressive. He has the right size. And I mean, listen, if there's a world where Kyle Hamilton falls out of the top 4 for one reason or another, the Saints do have the ammo to go up and get him. And I don't know if everyone would like that. I'm a defense person, so I wouldn't be mad about that at all. But I think Jalen Petrie, again, kind of fits what they're looking for. Nick Cross is also someone to me who, if they don't get perhaps, one of those earlier guys, I have actually pretty strong faith in the Saints at finding deeper players at those skill players on defense because they're really able to do that. I mean, you look at Marcus Williams in the 2nd round, TJ Gardner-Johnson in the 3rd, and Paulson and Dabo last year in the 3rd round, and he hadn't played a down of football the year before. And they really hit on that. So I'm kind of willing to bank on what they're able to do in those later rounds. But I think those are the most attainable guys and the ones that would kind of fit that counterpart to Marcus May, if that's really kind of what they're looking at.
A Go Reader piece up at Saints Wire, part of the USA Today Network. She's on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. Y'all give her a follow. I retweeted the piece earlier. If you want to go find it there, you can as well on my Twitter. Maddy, good stuff. We appreciate it. Have a great day. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me.
Be well. We appreciate it. It's really good. I mean, it's a deep dive into that position, but the big takeaway is kind of what you said there was you thought when they lost Marcus Williams and signed Marcus May that May was replacing Williams, but really they knew Malcolm Jenkins was leaving. He's more of a guy to replace Malcolm Jenkins. So what you still need is a replacement for Marcus Williams. And that guy probably isn't on the roster based on the skill set that they're seeking, which means they're probably going to go after that in the draft. So you're looking for who that prospect might be. And that probably leans to why Mickey Loomis was saying, we think we can get 3 of the top 20, 25 players in the draft with our top 50 picks. So interesting if you're into the deep dive, if you're into the analytics. But I'm telling you, the thing that got me most excited was the research on Justin Evans. He hadn't played a ton, a lot of injuries have set back his career, but when he's been out there, it's been really good. So that pickup from Tampa could, if you keep that guy healthy, could be maybe a sneaky free agent signing here in this offseason. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC. And we are going to talk some LSU roster. Brian Polian met with the media late last week. We're going to revisit some of what he said, not only about special teams, but also about roster building. That's coming up in about 30 minutes from right now. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Remember the Baton Rouge General Hospital, of course, they've got the campuses on Bluebonnet, Mid-City, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, but the Baton Rouge General also has their express care locations, brgeneral.org. To learn more, brgeneral.org. Remember, they've got 2 locations flanking the LSU campus. One on Nicholson directly across from Tiger Stadium. I mean, it's right next to Torchy's Tacos. The other is on Highland just through the South Gates. So if you're going south on Highland, you pass through the South Gates, it's on the right. You can't miss it. Then the third, of course, is in Dutchtown. You can check in online, brgeneral.org. So this is a way you can save time. You can download the Baton Rouge General app so you can see the wait times as well. If you need walk-in urgent care 7 days a week, that's the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. From allergies and animal bites to cuts, scrapes, and COVID, it's the Baton Rouge General Hospital Express Care locations. Learn more at brgeneral.org. Again, online at brgeneral.org.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True Radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we appreciate you for being here with us. Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN in New Orleans, 94.7 in Alexandria, the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, online, wherever you may be. We appreciate it. Today was the day. Of course, it was opening day in Cincinnati for the Reds, so you know what that meant. First pitch for Joey B. We learned that last week, that Joe Burrow was going to throw out the first pitch for opening day. The Reds. Muse, have you seen it yet?
I have.
You have? Okay.
I have.
I have not. So if you're listening on radio, don't worry. I'm not neglecting you here. We're going to play it. We're going to play the video, but I'll describe it, and we'll react to it. I've not seen it yet.
Okay.
Not yet seen it. Okay, so here we go. Here's Joey B., the number 9 Burrow jersey. You got to love it. So he goes from the bump. I like it. Hides the ball. Minimal leg kick and a little bit of a looper. Okay. Not. Tyron's was better. Tyron went and zoomed it in there. Zoom it in there, Henry. Zoom it. Little Rookie of the Year reference for you. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Joey B. What do you think he was thinking there?
All right, well, here's one of my critiques, and it's not for Joey B. Why is Zach Taylor not squatting? You kind of almost have to loop it when your catcher's standing up
All right,
like that.
Here's my question. See, now this, I don't know from this angle. Zach Taylor maybe was squatting.
And he had to stand.
And
he had to stand up
because Joey B kind of looped it. Or maybe Zach Taylor said, hey, you're not going to break my chiclets here. So
or
just
potentially hurt your arm.
Yeah, take it easy there, kiddo. Maybe that was it. Yeah. I mean, far be it from me to criticize anything the great Joe Burrow would ever do, by the way. I mean, as far as looping first pitches go, I think that's the greatest looped first pitch, loopity-dooped first pitch that I've ever seen. So good on you there, Joey B. And Jamar Chase was out there as well. Jamar Chase What was he was doing? He was handing out an award.
Was it for Votto? I think it was something for Joey Votto. I think.
Jonathan India.
Oh, Rookie of the Year.
His Rookie of the Year award. Okay, there it is. Yep. I'm trying to get this picture to. Well, anyway, rarely do things load on time here, but that's okay. Anyway, yeah. So there's Jamar Chase and Jonathan India with presenting his Rookie of the Year award. So that's pretty cool, man. That they got those guys involved. The LSU contingent kind of taking over Cincinnati, which is pretty cool to see. So congrats to those guys on a great football season. To be included there on opening day has got to be a great thrill. So Joey B and Jamar still doing the thing. All right, it's after further review. Hey, remember, look, I mean, Major League Baseball season in full swing. You want to bet on all 162? You can do it at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. But remember also, you've got the NBA play-in tournament. Starts tonight. Of course, the Pelicans play tomorrow. You want to bet on the play-in tournament? Easy. At the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5. Bet just $5. And regardless of the result, you'll win $150 in free bets from the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Again, use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on any game in the play-in. You can win $150 in free bets only at DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. The play-in tournament is here. Playoffs are right around the corner. MLB all 162. You know what to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's always a little more fun when you got some skin in the game. Now, here's the disclaimer. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
We'll file this under no one's shocked at all. Alabama got the commitment of former Vanderbilt offensive lineman Tyler Steen. Picked the Crimson Tide over LSU, Kentucky, Virginia, and others. Steen, 6'5", 315-pounder, has 2 seasons of eligibility remaining. He is expected to compete for one of the 2 vacant offensive tackle positions for Alabama this season.
The Texas A&M Aggies.
Jimbo keeps racking up, this time a national top 100 cornerback, Bravion Rogers, 5'10", 185-pounder, ranked as the number 60 overall prospect in the country. He picked the Aggies on Tuesday afternoon. Also plays running back, receiver, and cornerback at his high school, but his future in College Station is there in the secondary. Had offers from Bama, LSU, Georgia, Michigan, Texas. He's the 5th commitment for A&M's 2023 class.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
3rd Kentucky basketball player has declared for the draft. This time it's Jacob Toppin. Toppin seen action in 83 career games. He will not hire an agent, though, so he's left open the door of possibly returning to Lexington. Started his career at Rhode Island, where he played his freshman season. He's played the last 2 seasons for the Wildcats, but is headed to the draft. Ty Washington and Keon Brooks have also declared for the draft.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Mississippi State guard Cam Carter has entered the transfer portal. When he signed with the Bulldogs in 2021, he was the number 114 overall prospect in the nation. 2nd Mississippi State player to enter the transfer portal since Chris Jans was hired last month. A 6'3", 180-pound guard. State, though, could get a boost at the guard spot with the transfer of Deshaun Davis from Oregon State, who announced his commitment to the Bulldogs on Sunday.
The Auburn Tigers.
And Auburn forward Chris Moore will be sidelined 10 to 12 weeks following surgery to repair a stress reaction in his shin. He played the late part of the season with a sleeve, protective sleeve over that right shin. Moore appeared in 25 games as a sophomore, 6'4". It'll be a junior next year, set to be one of 8 returning scholarship players for Auburn. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. Check them out online, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. They're just the best. Offices in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, Lafayette, so no matter where you are, There's a Gulf Coast Office Products location near you so they can get to you same day. Worst case scenario, 10 a.m. the next day. That's their guarantee. That's Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it's after further review. We're going to wrap up hour number one. Something that I wanted to get to yesterday, but just flat ran out of time, was the comments Dabo Sweeney made late last week about blowing up college football. I want to get to that to wrap up hour number one. Next, we will talk about LSU special teams, the roster building and allocation. Brian Polian met with reporters last week. We'll get to some of that. Lee Feinswog still ahead. Ton to do. Sean Payton talking about Taysom Hill and his future role with the Saints. Lots of good stuff still ahead. And glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Tuesday shows are brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. You know I love sharing testimonials. This one came in from Adam over at Insurance Network of Louisiana. He said, Matt, wrote a gentleman last week, was not happy at all with State Farm and how they handled his Hurricane Ida claim. Does that sound familiar? Adam wrote, I think he would have switched and paid more because he was so upset, but luckily we were able to save him about $800 on his homeowners, lowered his hurricane deductible from $11,000 to $5,000. He was over the moon that he could save money, get better coverage, and get away from State Farm. Sound like you? Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450. Call right now or lainsurance.net.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Okay, wrapping up hour number one. Thanks for being here with us. I wanted to talk about this yesterday. We flat ran out of time. And so this is something dated from Friday, but I want to bring it back because the comments, I think, are going to continue to reverberate. Dabo Swinney did an interview with Chris Lowe at ESPN.com, and it was one of those things where it was long form, and Chris Lowe transcribed the entirety of the interview. And some of the things therein have continued making their rounds because Chris Lowe and Dabo talked a lot about NIL, the professionalism of college sports, and the future of college football. The transfer portal. One of the things that, if you're a college football fan, in the immediacy, that's worth paying attention to, is Dabo flatly said he's not going to abuse the transfer portal. Like, he's just not going to use the transfer portal to build his roster. He would rather rely on guys that would stick with him for 2, 3, 4, 5 years and get better than just go find a quick fix in the transfer portal. He just feels like, as a coach, as a teacher, as a person, that's the way to do it as an educator and as a coach. And if that's true, that's ultimately going to be the demise of Clemson's football program, of their dominance. Because look at Nick at Alabama, just the story we just did a little bit ago at Tyler Steen. Nick loses 2 offensive linemen, 2 tackles. They've recruited as well as anybody in the country. For 15 years now. But what does Nick do? There's a guy who started 30 games in the SEC who hits the transfer portal. I want him. Nick's a defensive back guy by trade. He's recruited 5-star defensive backs left and right. Elias Ricks hits the portal. Bama. Why? It's a player that makes me better immediately. That's why Nick's not going anywhere. And that could be the unraveling of Dabo Swinney's empire at Clemson. Could be. Maybe not, but could. The other part, there were 2 other comments that got a lot of people's attention. One, Dabo was asked about being adamantly against pay for play in college sports. He said adamantly that he is for NIL, but he says that's a slippery slope if you professionalize college athletics. And now, I'm quoting, and now you've got salaries and taxes, and you can fire kids on the spot, and they've got to pay for their tuition, and they pay for their housing and everything else. Athletic directors would sign up for that in a heartbeat. They'd save money, end quote. He's 100% right about that. I'm all for NIL. I'm all for players being able to make money on their name, image, and likeness. But if you professionalize college sports, that's the net effect that most people don't understand would happen. Players would get fired. Players would have to pay for their own travel. They'd have to pay for their own housing. And all the things that athletes don't normally pay for, that they take for granted, they would then have to pay for if you professionalize college sports. I agree with him. The last thing, though, and this is the quote that got the most attention, Dabo said, quote, I think there's going to be a complete blow-up and restructuring of all of college athletics, especially football, and there needs to be. I think eventually there will be some type of break and another division. Right now, you've got everybody in one group, and it's not feasible. Alabama has different problems than Middle Tennessee, but we're trying to make them all be the same, and it's just not. I think you'll have 40 or 50 teams and a commissioner, and here are the rules. Amen. Amen. This is something that I have screamed about here. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's a unique thought by me. A lot of people have it. But something that if you listen to the show, you've heard me scream about for years. But me screaming about it in little old Baton Rouge is one thing. One of the most successful coaches in the history of college football saying it on the record to ESPN is quite different. Essentially saying there is a restructuring of college football coming, and it needs to happen. How many times have you heard me say, I am a college football elitist? It is not LSU's job to fund ULM's program by hosting them in a game and paying them $1 million to come take their ass whipping. Nobody wants to see it. And the fact that when schools vote and ULM has the same leverage in voting, or all of the group of 5, as the Power 5 schools, you don't have the same problems. And it doesn't need to happen that way. All of these issues, by the way, it's college football's fault for not evolving over time And ultimately, it came to a head. The players have finally pushed back and said, we're done being free labor. We want more. And if your labor walks, then you have no product. So it's going to happen. And it's going to be a better product for it. All right, Sportscenter is coming right up. Hour 2 next of AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. I've told you this story before, but it's one of the greatest testimonials I've ever heard. It was a father who had twin daughters, bought a Jetta at South Point for his daughters. It was Thanksgiving Day a few years ago. The dad gets a call, and it's from a police officer that there had been a wreck. Car, big truck, had run red light, and it hit his daughters in that Jetta. When he arrived to the scene, the front of the vehicle was missing. And he thought to himself, how could anybody have survived this? And he looks over, and there's his daughters talking to the state trooper on the scene and actually kind of laughing a little bit. That is one of the greatest testimonials ever. You're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road when you drive a Volkswagen. Of course, you get the style, the feel, the performance, the luxury, the great German engineering, but the safety as well. South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. SouthPointVW.com.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed.
Time for myself.
We found our why.
Have you found yours?
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At least 10 people were shot by a gunman today on a Brooklyn subway about 2 miles from where the Nets will host the Cavaliers in an NBA play-in game tonight. Police are still searching for the gunman. The winner of tonight's game takes 7th in the Eastern Conference and meets the Celtics in round 1 of the playoffs. The loser will play the winner of tomorrow's Hawks-Hornets matchup for the 8th seed and a playoff series with the Heat. Tonight's other play-in game, Timberwolves and Clippers. Whether it's Minnesota or LA that wins and claims 7th in the West, Memphis will make quick work of that team in the first round, believes ESPN's Tim Legler.
I really don't think either one of these teams win more than one game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And this is a team that is so complete. They're young, they're tough, they're aggressive, they've got great balance, and they've got guys that are just flat out better offensive players than we thought they would be at the NBA level.
The loser of tonight's game plays the winner of tomorrow's Spurs-Pelicans matchup for 8th in a meeting with the Suns. Suns coach Monty Williams voted National Basketball Coaches Association Coach of the Year for the 2nd consecutive year.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Matt.
I am sweating.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Feinswog in about 15 minutes. Kade Beloso next hour. Looking forward to having Cade on the show. I don't think Cade's done any media since his injury before the first game of the season. So looking forward to talking to him about that, about getting an AB last week against Grambling when he thought that season and very likely his LSU career was done. So that's coming up in the next hour. We're looking forward to it. So one of the things Brian Kelly has done that I certainly, as a media member, am very much in favor of, but I think just for everyone who follows the program probably is in favor of, that we're all learning, is he's making his coaching staff available. By the way, today, Tuesday after practice, Mike Denbrock is going to be available to reporters. And Thursday, Matt House, the defensive coordinator, is going to be available. So we're going to get to hear from the coordinators about how it's going and with their specific position groups and sides of the ball. And so that's really cool. Well, we did get to hear already from Brian Polian, who not only is the recruiting coordinator, but he's also the special teams coordinator. And this is an interesting year for Brian Polian because when Ed Ogeron was fired, Brian Kelly was hired, and he turned over the entire staff except Brad Davis. T-Bob and I were doing Scone and T, and after the staff was in place, we did this exercise where we went coach by coach through the entire staff. And we said, okay, is this an upgrade? Is it an improvement, or was the coach at this position on the old staff better? And literally every single spot was an improvement except one, and it was special teams coordinator. I think Greg McMahon was the best hire that Ed Ogeron made during his time in Baton Rouge. And it reflected with what you saw from talent evaluation and how they performed from, obviously Cade York being the best kicker that LSU's ever had, finding Avery Atkins as a walk-on from Auburn, Alabama. Cole Tracy, of course, from Assumption with the season he had in 2018. I mean, you all know the story by now. Zach von Rosenberg developing the way he did. Never really missing a beat in the return game. He was phenomenal from the day that Ed Ogeron hired him to replace Bradley Dale Pivito. So I think Brian Polian has big shoes to fill, not only from Greg McMahon's position, but then also just think you're losing your specialists. I mean, Avery Atkins was your punter a year ago. He's gone. He also was your kickoff specialist a year ago. I mean, Cade York is the greatest place kicker this program has ever had. He's gone. So you're replacing all of your specialists. So that alone brings a giant question. When Brian Polian met with the media, he did update the battles for place kicker and punter.
The competition is not whole until we get to the summertime when we add Jay Bramblett, when we add Nathan Divert, and we're going to add a young man by the name of Trey Finnison, who will join us as a preferred walk-on as a grad transfer from Northwestern. So I'm pleased thus far. I think Damian Ramos and Zeke Mata have done a good job. We've really, only in the last couple of practices, got together as a complete field goal unit. So we were in the installation phase, but they're doing a good job. I'm encouraged. We've been splitting reps. There's no starter. Is just evaluation right now and trying to put them into as many competitive situations as possible.
So Bramblett's the punter that's coming in from Notre Dame, the transfer, and Dibert is the freshman signee who will show up again on campus in June. The one guy who is here is a guy who signed a year ago, and that's Payton Todd out of West Monroe. And the book on Payton Todd, when he signed, if you ask coaches or scouts or anything like that, I'm not going to pretend to know anything about punting other than kick the ball really far, is that kid can boom it, but you don't always know where it was going to go. Could he directionally kick? Controlling it, harnessing it was maybe the issue. Here was Brian Polian on Payton Todd.
Payton Todd's got a cannon. Obviously, he was coming off a surgery as a true freshman. He had an ankle surgery before he arrived. So, his true freshman year, I don't think he was quite whole. Avery did a great job of stepping in and filling that role. He's immensely talented. We just got to keep working on the fundamentals and keep getting used to us, and he's doing that, and it's a schematic change for him too, so that's a little different, but everybody's doing a good job.
So all of those jobs seem very much wide open. And you're bringing in transfers, both place kicker and punter, so guys who have experience, and then you also have signees who are scholarship players, and it's rare that you spend, air quotes, a scholarship on a specialist if they're not going to play. I mean, I remember when the Fergusons signed at LSU and Les gave them both scholarships. And there was this thought, like, why would you use a scholarship on a long snapper? Well, for 8 years, you didn't have to worry about an errant snap. For 8 years, like Reed Ferguson's, he'll tell you this, the first snap of Reed's career in 2013 was against UAB in Tiger Stadium. It was a 2013 season, and it was a high snap on a punt. He never, the rest of his career, never had another bad snap. And then Blake followed up for 4. So you had 8 years of never having to, was 8 years of never having to worry about a snap. Was it worth it for 2 scholarships? Absolutely. So typically, if you're going to give a scholarship to a specialist, they're going to play. But the other thing that was interesting, and I love to hear this from Brian Polian, and this was something that Les did in his era that I thought was very smart. And Nick Saban did it as well, by the way, was the best players play special teams, and that's going to happen again.
Our approach is you will see our best players out there. You'll see them on our coverage units because we believe that you have to cover kicks to win games. You got to cover punts, and you got to protect the punter. I mean, think back to the Green Bay Packers. They get a punt blocked, and they're out of the playoffs. I mean, you've got to be able to protect kickers. You got to be able to cover kicks to win games. And then we will, as it relates to personnel, there are spots where we will use our best players. And then there are roles for guys that will be 4-unit core special teams players that might be a backup on offense or defense, but will carve out a way to play winning football for us. And we view those players as starters. And really, that's what we're doing right now is we're evaluating the roster, trying to figure out who those guys are going to be.
It's a mindset for guys to want to play special teams. A lot of times when you get to a certain point in your career, you feel like you've graduated from special teams. But I've told the story before, and I'll tell it again. Remember, LSU was playing Ole Miss. I think it was 2010. I'm not exactly 100% sure on the year, but it was in Tiger Stadium. And it was a closer game than it needed to be. And LSU scored late in the game. And remember, Stephen Ridley went 2 less miles and said, I want to cover the kick. It's something Ridley had done early in his career. But it was just like, we're not going to screw this up in this moment. But you had guys that were bought in that wanted to be on those coverage units. And if that's your path to the field, and for so many of those guys, and it's one of the benefits of having a guy like Polian, who's got an NFL background, to say, this is a way to make sure you hang around in the NFL. Special teams a lot of times can be the differentiator. If you can cover kicks, if you can be an elite special teams player, you can hang around and catch a check in the NFL. So I like seeing your best players play special teams. Not necessarily your All-Americans returning punts. Been through that before. I didn't need Derek Stingley and his ACLs returning punts. I got plenty of athletic guys that can catch a ball and run. But on the coverage units, I agree. So what are some of the names? Who might we see on special teams?
Mike Jones has been fantastic. You can expect to see him on the punt team. He'll probably cover kickoffs. Greg Penn's been awesome. Fouché, Brooks have been fantastic. And then think about younger players. I'm really excited about what we've seen from Colby Fields. I mean, he's in the drill work, and what we're asking him to do is terrific. I really like Josh Williams. I mean, there's a guy that's a backup tailback that will most likely be a core player for us. You know, what can Jure give us as a big wide receiver? What can Gardner give us? What can Weeks give us, these new players into our program? That's what we're trying to evaluate right now. But we've been encouraged by a lot of the tape and a lot of what we're seeing on the field.
Mike Jones, Greg Penn, Joe Fouché, Greg Brooks. These are dudes that are going to be starting defensive players for you that are going to be covering kicks and punts. It's just a new day. I mean, it is an all-in buy-in attitude right now with this team, and that's what they're trying to find. Look, I loved when Greg Brooks over the weekend tweeted, "Best decision of my life." Brian Kelly went out, had to add 17 mid-year enrollees, and so many of them were guys with ties to Louisiana, and this is why. He wants guys that aren't just trying to get to the league. Of course, everybody that plays at LSU is trying to get to the league, but he wants guys that want to be here, and are going to buy into his vision to what he's building here at LSU. It's what you have to have. Special teams is a big part of it. Win that phase of the game. It'll go a long way to LSU winning games this fall. Loved what I heard from Brian Polian. He did also talk about roster building, because Brian Polian is the recruiting coordinator as well. We'll revisit some of what he had to say about building the roster, the numbers, positions they're still looking at. We'll circle back to that a bit later in the show. But it's After Further Review, brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. You got calibration labs all over the country, 29 of them across 11 different states. If you want your business to be more efficient, no matter what industry you're in, if you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, service, and rents the products you use to weigh and to measure. You need to calibrate devices. Why box them up and ship them? This happens all the time. People will box up these devices. They'll ship them to different parts of the country, to these labs, have them calibrated and shipped back. Don't waste your time with that, your resources. Just call Michelli. They'll come pick them up from you. They'll send a rep, pick it up from you, bring it to their lab, calibrate it, and then boom, they'll bring it right back to you. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. 75 years strong. Louisiana-born, Louisiana-grown, and still Louisiana-run. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Feinswog is going to join us next. Talk a little LSU hoop. Some comings and goings there on the roster. I want to get his thoughts on Dabo. I know Lee is a chaos proponent, and we'll also talk beer. Lee Feinswog's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt and Hill, The Early Line. And After Further Review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Lee.
Hi, Matt. Sorry I had to bail on you last week. The day after the championship game, but
we made
how are
it.
You?
We made it.
I figured you would.
Is Major League Baseball opening day overrated or underrated?
Ooh, it's really exciting to go. Have you ever been to an opening day?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been to a few of them. I think I told you, right, my story about meeting Roger Maris. Didn't we talk about that sometime in the recent past?
Yes.
Meeting Roger Maris at St. Louis Cardinals opening day.
You did, yes.
Yes, yeah. I've been fortunate enough to go to quite a few. I got to cover the Royals from 78 to 81 at home. So I would have seen, I know for sure, 79, 80, and 81. And then 81 was during a strike, and that's when I actually left Kansas City and moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, changing newspapers. And baseball was on strike, and there were some buddies there.
None of this answers the question.
Oh, well, probably not as special as it used to be because it always used to be all on the same day. It was daytime. It was usually snowing or raining and around the country. But it was now you have, sometimes it actually starts in March. A couple of years ago, I want to say the Mariners opened opening day in Japan against Oakland.
Yeah.
I mean, how I mean, is that special? Yeah, but is it special like the old days special? You know?
Now finish telling me your story about your buddies. I just needed an answer to the question first, but I want to know your opening day story with your buddies when you went to Winston-Salem.
Right. Well, I had some friends on the Royals who I never got to see again because I wasn't in a major league city till like years later. And then, I'm not sure they faked it and just acted like they remembered me. I don't know.
I just have in my mind the song Royals from Lord.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like I was a rookie.
Roll your eyes at that music. I love that jam, by the way. That's a jam.
I rolled my eyes.
That's a banger. You ever heard that song?
I never heard of that song.
I might have heard it. Bring that up, Muse, in a second. But go ahead, finish. No, it's an awesome song.
No, so like Clint Hurdle, who later became more famous actually as a manager.
Yeah.
Of the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Colorado Rockies. I mean, we were rookies together, for lack of a better term. I mean, I had my first professional sports writing gig, and he was Rookie of the Year candidate for the Royals that same season, 78. Yeah, Yeah.
What did you think of the championship game?
I thought it was really fun and exciting.
It was.
It was like watching 4 quarters, right? It was, the first quarter, it was kind of even, and then the second quarter was all Carolina. And honestly, did you think the game was over at halftime?
Yeah.
I thought it would take a pretty Herculean.
You know what, Lee? I shared this. So we did the shows Friday and Monday of the Final Four from New Orleans. And I share one of my buddies, Ari Temkin, who does Sirius XM Big 12 radio, who's a Kansas alum, was in New Orleans as a fan, but he stopped by our broadcast and came and did a segment with me to talk about it. And I shared this story with him and with the audience on air, and it was the best analogy that I heard about this Kansas team. And I'll give you the Cliffs Notes, but essentially, and I want to give credit, but I can't remember where I read or heard this. So I would love to give attribution. I just don't remember where I saw it. But they compared this Kansas team to Secretariat. And the thing was, Secretariat wasn't the best sprinter or mutter, but Secretariat had the ability to run the longest at that horse's top-end speed. So with Kansas, it was kind of like, oh, there's going to be a time where Carolina sprints, but they're going to run out of gas, and Kansas is just Secretariat, just going to keep running at its top-end speed. The comeback they had against Baylor in the tournament was evidence of that. So you asked the question that I think it was over. It certainly was going to be a massive comeback down 16, but I really didn't think it was over because of that. We just seen Kansas do it already.
Well, go back to my quarter analogy. So the third quarter was just all Kansas, right?
Yeah.
They just closed that gap so quickly, and then the fourth quarter was two great teams beating up on each other. Kansas, what was interesting was they had 5 players with between 12 and 15 points. Every one of those players had at least 3 rebounds. 5 of those 6 players had assists. They just had they'd made so many key, really, really good plays. And it'll be kind of unusual when Kansas goes on its inevitable NCAA probation coming up. They have the NCAA.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
how long until they have to forfeit the trophy and the thousands of people that lined the streets in Lawrence, Kansas to celebrate the title have to actually give back the title that they just claimed?
Yeah, well, the over under. Will they get to the probation before or after they get to the White House? They were really good teams. I mean, Kansas finished with 11 wins in a row. Carolina was so hot. I mean, Hubert Davis, the North Carolina coach, in the same thing thought about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, first Super Bowl guy, second year pro, all that. And, this bad about how many of those guys who have made it in their first time never made it back.
Mm-hmm.
And I will Hubert Davis. I mean, the tradition of Carolina being, he's certainly going to be in the. You just never know. It's really hard to get that far in today's college world.
No, it is. Hey, do me a favor, Muse, call Lee back real quick. Lee, your phone's breaking up there. I just want to get you on a better cell. Muse is going to call you right back. We're going to get back to Lee because I do want to ask Lee about the addition to the LSU basketball roster. I do want to ask him about Dabo as well, who basically lobbied for blowing up college football, which is something Lee has talked about, the chaos theory, for a long time. I do want to get to that. So Lee is coming right back here with us. Brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. It's energy-efficient replacement windows. Lower your monthly energy bills. Of course, you can beautify the exterior of your home. Lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. That's Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. All right, Lee's back with us. I want to pivot quickly if we can, because I don't want to get too bogged down. I did want to ask you about the LSU basketball roster as it's coming to form. Mwani Wilkinson has dropped out of the portal. He'll stay at LSU, and they've added 5 other players. What do you think about any of those players or the job that Matt McMahon has done so far?
Well, what's really strange is if you go to the LSU basketball roster page, you see 10 guys in shirts and ties and sport coats, and all of them coaches, and there are no players left. The roster of players this season is not available at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, that is kind of alarming. By the way, on that aside of those coaches, Tasman, he got this. He's listed as special assistant to the head coach. But I love Tasman in high for going to the LA.
Hang on. Muse, pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone and ask him to walk to a spot where you're clear, and then we'll go back to it. I'm hearing every other word, and I don't want to put the audience through that. So I'm sorry. I do want to jump into this, but if we're just having trouble with the phone, we just got to dump. So I apologize for that. If you missed the news today, Mwani announced that he's coming back to LSU, and that's a day after we learned that Cam Hayes, an NC State transfer, has joined the roster. So LSU's back up to 6 scholarship players on the basketball team. Of course, all 13 had either entered the portal or the draft, had declared for the draft. So Matt McMahon had to replace the entirety of his roster, and almost halfway there. Try it again? Okay, let's try it one more time. All right. Please, let's work. Let's work. All right, we got you back. You were saying about Tasman Mitchell.
Proud of him for going into the LHSAA Hall of Fame tonight, and great class going in, including like Tyler LaFosse, who was in one of my books, Tales from the LSU Sidelines, one of the great people. And Matt, on the LSU basketball staff from Northwestern State, Jeff Moore, because you always want the connection, his daughter is a fine young high school club volleyball player.
I love it. That's so good. No, Tyler LaFosse is an all-time just great human. The opportunities I've had to meet Tyler, what a phenomenal guy. And, yeah, obviously congrats to Tasman as well. Do you have a thought on the way Matt McMahon has built this roster yet with the transfers or getting Mwani back?
Well, with Wilkinson coming back, that's good. I think he's got big upside. Nice-looking player. The kid who came from Northwestern State, which, Jeff Moore, the coach we just talked about, was there. And he's a really nice player, big guy. And then the 2 guards who came from Murray are nice. I think the theory of bringing in these players has to be almost the theory of him taking the job as a coach, which is, all right, this could be a long haul. It could be tough, but let's go about it the right way and build it block by block. And that seems to be what they're doing. I wouldn't.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you really think that? Because I kind of looked at it a different way, Lee, where I thought he's looking to stop the bleeding with transfers immediately, right? I mean, I guess maybe you have to go transfer portal just to fill out a roster because you can't sign 13 high school players. So
no, and if they were really good, they wouldn't be available at this point anyway, a high school player.
No, you're right.
But there's some JCs you might be able to pull in, and I'm sure the summer will produce. I don't think that you're going to have a really deep roster with a whole lot of practice players next year.
Yeah.
Not the way it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is good that they got Mwani back. It's going to start at 30 games for LSU this past season. God certainly knows the league well. Lee Feinswog's with us. He's on Twitter at Lee Feinswog. There's your obligatory Twitter mention, even though you don't tweet. Or better yet, you could go read volleyballmag.com or
whoa,
how about it?
Thank you.
Or you can watch Sports 225, sports225.com. Did you hear me talking about Dabo?
Yes. Well, no, I didn't hear you on the show talking about Dabo. And, I just want you to know I'm standing in a weird corner in my office at an angle, making sure that the phone doesn't screw up again. But I'm blaming the thunderstorm because the previous, when you guys called, I was in the exact same place as always, just so you know.
Draw a chalk line around your feet and stand in that spot every Tuesday at 4:15 moving forward.
Dabo's got, the one point that I agree with him is that there has to be another tier. I mean, for the longest time, it was, for lack of the better term, whatever they call it, 1A and 1AA. Okay, and there really has to be 1A, 1AA, and 1AAA. And the 1A has to be smaller. It's got to be the Power 5 conferences or whatever this latest evolving of the conferences is. And then you're going to have to – there's going to be a few outliers. You're going to say, well, what about us? But ultimately, you're probably looking at, 60, 65, 70 teams that are going to be this one tier because the rules are different for them. And
I don't even know if it would be that many, Lee.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what conference are you going to kick out?
I don't even know that it's conferences, but it's team. Like, why would Kansas football be in this?
Well, because they're part of the Big 12.
But it doesn't matter. Like, conference.
No,
I don't know if you agree with
right.
me. Conferences are going to cease to exist with respect to football.
Well, how about the idea of like the English Premier League, where you have relegation?
I have no idea what that is. I don't watch soccer.
Okay.
I mean, I know what relegation is, but I don't understand the analogy.
Well, if you want to say, all right, so there's no conferences anymore, and it's just going to be like the top 60 teams, but only the top, say, 28 are going to get to play for the championship each year. But if you stink up the top 28, like the bottom 4 have to drop down to the next level, and the top 4 from the others get to move up. So there's always a light at the end of the tunnel for the rest of the group, and then there's an incentive to not only do well, but to keep your place in the top tier and still have a chance to win. So like if you were a Kansas and you couldn't play dead on an annual basis, you don't get to stay in the top tier, but you're still in that group of the 1A. Got to think about that one, huh?
I just don't want them involved. I'm not interested. I don't need to find
Okay.
I don't need to find a way for Kansas football to be involved in my college football. I'm not interested.
Well, but you're going to either include conferences
No,
or you're
that's
not.
as I'm telling you. I'm not including conferences. Lee, I think that's the inevitability. We're heading to a point where it's just going to be college football with these power schools that are invited, that collectively get together. And there are going to be some in the air quotes Power 5 that are left out. Kansas, Vanderbilt, like some of these programs that just stink and have never been any good, that don't really add any value as far as TV or competitive value or anything. Why would they be a part of it? Wake Forest. I don't need Wake Forest. I don't care that they had a great season last year and won the ACC championship game. They provide nothing of value to any type of major college football. Rutgers. I don't need Rutgers. See ya. No thanks.
You know what they say, Matt? Ohio State. It just means more.
I don't think they say that, but you know what they do say.
No, but you are going to have, you're going to have this blending, and in your way, one of the things that makes college football great is conferences and the conference rivals.
I disagree.
Anyhow, and I'll be more than happy to get to the next subject,
which is beer.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, beer. But I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. Beer. I could really use it. Beer. Beer.
And might we raise a beer to the great Simone Augustus as well, by the way? We found out it's getting a statue.
Yes, absolutely. Great basketball player from Baton Rouge, a great representative, Olympian, the whole thing. All right, so this is not the beer I'm going to talk about. But this one's called The Company I Keep from Great Raft. And you know how much I love Great Raft and always say great things about Great Raft in Shreveport. This one, The Company I Keep, is an unapologetic American Pilsner, 5% alcohol, 16-ounce can that I got. I was with a group, and I had everybody try it. I didn't like it. Everybody else loved it. So since I didn't like it, I couldn't make it my beer. My beer is from the NOLA Brewing Company in New Orleans, called Mango Squeeze, as part of their Squeeze series. I know we did their Tangerine at some point.
Oh,
so you know how you and I talked about Mango Cart from Golden Road in Los Angeles, how we both really like that beer.
So good. Oh,
this
so
this is in some ways kind of like it. It's a wheat ale. It's 5.5%. It says aroma, ripe mangoes and cream. Taste full of fresh mangoes with mild sweetness, followed by a bready, biscuity flavor with a bit of tartness from the wheat and carbonation, which keep it balanced and refreshing. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
mouthfeel, creamy with a medium body, average carbonation. This is a really good, and the dogs say hello. This is, and they like Nola Mango Squeeze. Yeah, we're having a thunderstorm, so the dogs are a little out of kilter here. But this one's different than the Mango Cart. But if you like Mango Cart, which I know you do, Matt, and any of you tried it, you're going to really, really like Nola Mango Squeeze.
Okay.
So
I did
there
have
you go.
your Great Raft Commotion. Was that it? Was that the
Yeah, that's a really nice American Pale Ale.
I had that one. Really liked it a lot. I'm going to try this one too. I think that would be right up my alley. I'm learning a lot here about your all your little beer takes that you're giving us. I'm expanding my horizons. I'm on Ideal Protein right now, so I might have to wait a little bit. But I will get around to it. I will get around to having your Nola Brewing Mango. That was, I think, Nola Brewing. No, my favorite one that we went to was Wayward Owl on our first ever beer tour. Wayward Owl, which of course is now defunct, but that was my favorite one that we went to. But Nola was great. Where else did we go? I know we went to Zach Shreef's.
Well, Urban South.
Urban South, that was the other one. Oh, that was great.
If we had started at Urban South instead of finished there when we were so tired, I think we might have you might have ranked that one higher because that's a really, really fun place to drink beer.
Well, and I had a cucumber gose there, and I didn't like that at all. That's not my thing.
No, you're not a cucumber gose guy.
No, that was not good. I would pass on that one. I think Urban South's beer is very good. I have a lot that I like there, but that one not so much. No, not the. What do they say? Do they say gosa or gose? How do they say it? How do you say it?
I say gauche. That's what I've been told.
Oh, gauche? Oh, okay.
Okay. I don't know. Like me, I'm kind of gauche.
You're super gauche. When I think you are gauche AF, by the way, is what you are. Thank you, Lee. He always knows when to dismount. It's perfect. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. When you think real estate, think Darren James, commercial or residential, if you're buying or selling. And the reason I want you to think Darren James is because I want you to think about the customer service experience you'll have with Darren James. So many people rank moving as one of the most stressful events in their lives. Let Darren James remove the stress and actually make this an enjoyable experience because he handles everything. He's always available to answer your questions. And most importantly, he gets results. 335-7666, 335-7666. Erica and I have used Darren on 3 different occasions to either buy or sell our properties. We've always had an exceptional customer service experience like so many others. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level
with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A little bit of a short segment here because I want to make sure we get back on time. Kade Beloso is going to be with us at 5:15, so about 35 minutes from right now. Looking forward to that. I believe this can be Cade's first interview since his injury before the season opener, so looking forward to chat with him. A little bit of an update. Tomorrow, play-in game, Pels, Spurs, from the blender. Brandon Ingram, they had practice today, and Brandon Ingram did tell reporters that he is going to play in this game. So he missed the game against Golden State in the regular season finale on Sunday. That was it was described as a rest day for a lot of guys. I mean, they basically sat everyone in the game. It became a largely meaningless game as far as the standings or anything like that was concerned. But Brandon Ingram did tell reporters today that he is going to play in the ball game tomorrow, as you would expect. So B.I., Jonas, McCollum, they'll all be a go for the game tomorrow against San Antonio. Pels are 2 wins away from being into the playoffs, so they're in the play-in tournament right now. They'll be in the 9-10 game. Of course, there'll be a 7-8 game. Winner of the 7-8 game has the 7 spot. The loser of that game will play the winner of the Pels Spurs. Winner of that game is in as the 8 seed and has the right to play the Phoenix Suns. I'm pretty jacked about it. We were talking about this, though, off air, and I'm a little conflicted because I am so anti Major League Baseball wild card game. But I like the play-in here for the NBA. And maybe the reason is, I don't know. Maybe this sounds a little hypocritical. I don't know if you agree or whatever, but with the play-in, you're basically competing for the right to be the sacrificial lamb. Is that fair? Like the 8, I think it's in this current format, I think the 8 has beaten the 1 twice. And the last time it happened was when Golden State was an 8 and beat Dallas, who was the 1 seed. And that was Dirk's Dallas team. It's been a decade or so, maybe 08. It's just, I don't know if it's 100% correct on the year. Someone will correct me. 06, maybe. Anyway, if the Pelicans get the 8 seed, they're not beating the Suns. They're probably going to get swept by Phoenix, right? I mean, that's fair. In Major League Baseball, we've seen wildcard teams. We've seen teams win the wildcard game and go on and win the World Series. That happens. I say you prove this over 162. There's no need to prove it again. Like, you proved it over 162, you're in. I guess you could say the same. You proved it over 82, you're in. But I don't know. Does it sound like does it sound contradictory of me?
Yes, but that's just because I think they are very similar. But again, I like the wild card game just because of the intrigue and everything that it adds. Understanding your argument if you proved it over 162. I also like the NBA play-in because of the intrigue that it adds. The NBA and Major League Baseball both have great postseasons. Like they are two of the more fun postseasons in professional sports.
I disagree.
Oh, well, I mean.
What's fun is the NCAA tournament. Fun is the NFL postseason. The winner go home. The NBA playoffs last a damn year. You got
They're long.
You have 4 best-of-7 series. But MLB, once you get past the wild card game, which is stupid, and NBA have the best postseason because it's the most fair way to determine a champion. You win 4 best-of-7s, there is no ambiguity. You are a worthy champion. I mean, in the NFL, in the NCAA tournament, you get hot on the day, you upset it. Like the 10-win Giants upsetting Tom Brady's 18-0 Patriots. Kick rocks. Those two teams play 10 times. The Patriots are 9-1. The one-off is when the Giants won the Super Bowl. But that was the game for it all. So it's more fun. There's more angst in that respect. But to get that feeling in an NBA playoff or a Major League Baseball play, you have to get to a Game 7, which that's why Game 7s are awesome, but it takes a long time to get to a Game 7. So,
I say fun because I like the intensity that is there throughout those.
But it's not there throughout.
I don't know. I disagree with that. But
I'll put you this way: how many first-round NBA playoff? Whoever gets the 8 seed and plays the Suns, that is not going to be interesting in any way. No one is going to care or watch that. The only way that fans watch first-round series like that is if there's a LeBron. There has to be a star power to draw. Suns, Pelicans, as a 1-8, would do 0 ratings. No, now, I would care because it's my team. I love them. I want to see them in it. But nationally, would do 0. Would not even be a pulse nationally if that were your 1-8 series. In the NFL playoffs and the wild card, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Buffalo against the Chargers. It doesn't matter. It's the NFL playoffs, and every damn body in this country is going to watch, regardless of market size or intrigue or style or anything like that, because it's the NFL. So I think there's differences. I get that it sounds contradictory that I hate the Major League Baseball wildcard game. I love the play-in for the NBA. If the day comes where the Pelicans get upended in the play-in, I'll probably be a little pissed off. Like if they've gone through 82 games and they're the 7, and they lose the play-in, I'd be like, damn play-in, it's awful. Proved it over 72.
The one thing that bothers me about it is that 20 teams make the postseason out of 30. 2/3 of your league make the postseason. And you can say, well, it's not the playoffs, it's the play-in. It's the postseason, and 2/3 of your league are in there, and that's ridiculous.
The cream rises. It doesn't matter. It's all about selling inventory. That's why it doesn't
20
bother.
teams is too many.
It doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter because the objective is to sell inventory to make money, and ultimately, over 4 best-of-7s, the cream will rise. We got to go. It's after further review. We'll wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. It's rainy and nasty today. That's probably going to mean you're going to see some anthills popping up in your yard. You need ant killer? You can get it at Clegg's Nursery. You got weeds and clover in your grass? Go to Clegg's. They've got that weed-killing cocktail. Not sure what to use on your lawn or your flower beds? No worries. The horticulturists at Clegg's, they have the answers. So find a friendly person in a blue Clegg's shirt and just ask. Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations: Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Dedham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. For more than 60 years, our friends at Clegg's Nursery have been serving the greater Baton Rouge area. So you want beautiful flowers and plants and trees and shrubs. They've got full greenhouses. They have all the different materials that you would need by the bag or by bulk, and everything you'd find at a True Value hardware store. So get on by. Buy local, shop local, and be sure to tell them Matt sent you into Clegg's Nursery.
Dad! Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Kids! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
The motivation I needed to live healthier. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
WNBA draft last night. A pair of LSU Lady Tigers heard their names called, both to the Las Vegas Aces. Kayla Pointer off the board in round number 2, 13th pick overall. Great season for Kayla. Of course, 2 triple-doubles and almost ran up on a third and a fourth. And then Faustina Fua followed in round 3, 35th overall. Really solid performance down low for Kim Mulkey's squad this year, particularly against the South Carolina Gamecocks.
And who works for the Las Vegas Aces?
That would be Nikki Fargas.
Yeah, how about that?
Little connection.
Dipping into the well, the pipeline, as it were.
Why not, man? Got to.
Well, because she got fired here because she wasn't a good coach.
I mean, yeah, but
and
she
was
knows,
really lazy.
she knows what was
wonderful
here.
lady, wonderful lady, but a very, very lazy coach during her time.
Knows what was here, though.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball.
If only she'd gotten the support that Kim Mulkey got.
If only.
I'm sure she would have had the greatest turnaround. Never mind. Go ahead.
Major League Baseball last night, the San Diego Padres in the late game on the West Coast get the victory 4-2. Austin Nola, one big swing in that game. A solo home run in the 5th inning. 1 for 5, 333 the average. He'll be back in the lineup tonight.
Did he DH?
He was catching last night. Be back in the lineup tonight for game 2 of that series. Baseball today, Alex Lang, tough one against the Boston Red Sox. A third of an inning, gave up a hit and 2 earned runs. Walked one and didn't strike out anybody, was tagged with the loss. And then finally today, the Guardians and the Reds, Jake Fraley, 0 for 1 at the bottom of the Reds' order so far today. That is Tigers and the Pros.
And in that very game, we saw.
Oh, Joe Burrow throw a
Jelly
strike.
Day.
Yeah. If Zach Taylor would have been squatty, if Zach Taylor would have been a strike, it's Joe Burrow. Come on, it's Joe Burrow. And then Jamar Chase, hand over Rookie of the Year.
You know what it was like?
What's
it
that?
was like Rookie of the Year. It was the floater.
Just
floated. Just floated. That was Joey B's pitch. Floated.
Hate that part of that movie.
Got a swing and a miss. Mom? It was you?
That guy would have hit that out of the ballpark, like literally out of the park.
It was me.
That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. Gentlemen, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. We don't always buy diamonds. Buy them from the absolute best who always give you the Lee Michaels experience. LMFJ.com.
AFR.
As we put a button on hour number 2, it is always my pleasure to remind you about Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. That is what they do at Shawbills. Yes, they've been around for more than 50 years. Yes, they've expanded their footprint from Morgan City up to Baton Rouge, west toward West Baton Rouge, Lafayette, now in Livingston Parish and Denham Springs as well. But they treat you like family. I tell people this all the time, and they're always amazed. Like, is that true? Yeah. You need a tire repair. Even if you didn't buy the tire from Shawbills, they'll repair it for you. Why? Because 50 years ago when they opened up, Mr. Charlie said, it's just the right thing to do. When you treat people right, they keep coming back year after year, and that's why Shawbills has thrived for 5 decades. ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At least 10 people were shot by a gunman on a Brooklyn subway today, a couple of miles from where the Nets will host the Cavaliers in an NBA play-in game tonight. The gunman is still at large. Brooklyn, a double-digit favorite tonight, and it's got the difference maker in the matchup with Cleveland, believes ESPN's Zach Lowe.
As a general rule, if Kevin Durant is playing in a basketball game, he's the most important player in the basketball game. We can overthink all these things. This guy's an X factor. What if Karis LeVert has 30 and Evan Mobley's doing this and that? It's Kevin Durant. The guy can win the game by himself. He's maybe the best player in the league, in the world.
Tonight's other play-in game, the Timberwolves host the Clippers. Suns coach Monty Williams voted National Basketball Coaches Association Coach of the Year for a second straight year. The U.S. House Oversight Committee sent a letter to the Federal Trade Commission saying the Washington Commanders broke financial laws, alleged that the team failed to refund security deposits, concealed revenue, and kept 2 sets of financial books. The years-long process of altering records led to more profits for the Washington organization.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Kade Beloso in about 15 minutes. Excited to talk to the Tigers senior slugger. We all know the story. It's the opening day DH. Hurt his knee in the hype huddle. Made his return last week in the midweek against Grambling when thought maybe his season, his career was over. So looking forward to talk to Cade coming up here in just a few minutes. His recovery, all of the therapy he's gone through, role for the rest of the season, what it's like watching this team, get into all that. Bottom of the hour, we're also going to revisit some of what Brian Kelly had to say. Love what Greg Brooks said over the weekend to reporters as LSU had an open practice on Saturday for their full-scale second scrimmage. We'll get into some of that bottom of this hour. So we know Sean Payton is still aiming to try his hand at media. We know that he wants to be on a broadcast. He's made that known. Hasn't yet finalized a deal. Likely to happen, but we'll see where it is. In the meantime, he's making a lot of the rounds. He's doing a lot of podcast interviews. He's going to a lot of radio shows, TV, wherever, just to continue to have his name out there and to do this type of stuff. And he's good at it. Sean Payton was a guest on the Green Light podcast with Chris Long. And he spent about an hour with the guys on the podcast. And they talked about a range of subjects. I think Sean Payton really is good in this format, too. When he can go long form and tell stories and go really deep, I think he's good. And it was funny, too. He told a story about when he was with the Giants scouting Tom Brady and how he actually tried to convince the Giants to draft Tom Brady in the 3rd or 4th round, and he basically got poo-pooed. He told a story about Tony Romo. Sean Payton was the one who scouted Tony Romo with Dallas and ultimately got the deal done with Tony Romo. And they signed him for $15,000. And he told the story where Jerry Jones said it was between Dallas and Denver and thought they might need to go up to $25,000. This was a quick snippet of Sean Payton telling a story there at the end.
Jerry Jones had said to me, hey, do we need to go to 25? And I said, honestly, I think we're good at 15. And so we, sure enough, he agrees to come to Dallas. And again, I haven't known Jerry but for 2 months, and the draft ends, and we're, each organization's got food brought in. We had barbecue, of course, in Dallas, and I remember just eating some brisket in the cafeteria, and Jerry walked over to me and said, I don't know you that well, but I like you already saved me $10,000.
A billionaire worried about 10 G's. Hey, man, you don't become a billionaire because you're not concerned about every dollar. But it was a really good conversation. And they talked about ambush. They talked about how Sean Payton was always eager, and the Saints were always eager to get guys, players, their performance bonuses. They covered a lot of subjects. And ultimately, they circle back to Taysom Hill and kind of tells the story, Sean does, about how he identified Taysom Hill when he was playing the preseason in Green Bay, and how they put in the claim for Taysom Hill to get him on the roster, on the 53-man roster. And they talked a good bit about Taysom, and I found it interesting because it's going to matter now, this year, with Taysom going back into that role on this team. This was Sean telling a quick story about the first game when they were going to unleash Taysom in the meeting he had with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on Fox.
I remember in the production meeting, I said, Troy, there's going to be this guy, Taysom Hill, number 7, who's going to line up at L3. He's going to be a rush on the punt. Sure enough, he's first down on kickoff. He blocks a punt. He's running a fake punt. And this legend began to grow, and it was earned.
Of course, they continued the conversation further into Taysom Hill's role. And Sean Payton did talk about the contract, which has been misunderstood by many people. I think people here who follow the team closely understand that it was an incentive-laden deal that basically expanded if he became the starting quarterback. But listen how Sean talked about it.
Our vision at the time was develop him at quarterback because he had traits. I think he's 5-2 as a starter. The first year he played, he won the first 3 games, played poorly against Philadelphia, had a tough game. Chris, I think you might have been there, and then bounced back. And so a lot of people have been back and forth about him at quarterback. But meanwhile, all the while, he's playing F tight end.
Yeah. And
I think that you're going to see – I think there was a lot of people wondering about the contract this year. And the contract this year that he signed is reflective – is solely based on him being an F tight end. Anything at quarterback would be adjusted.
2 times Sean Payton said F tight end. When Dennis Allen was at the owners' meetings and talked about Taysom being a tight end, he specifically mentioned the F tight end. But a lot of people just ignored that. We talked about it here, but a lot of people glanced over that. And they assumed that Taysom was going to play a traditional tight end. No. They're just talking about the role Taysom has had on this team. Call it a tight end, call it an F-back, call it whatever you want to call it. It's the Taysom role. That's what he's talking about. F tight end, where sometimes he's attached, sometimes he's blocking, sometimes he's kind of in that H-back role, sometimes he's split out. It's just the Taysom role. Again, call it tight end, call it F tight end, call it whatever you want. That's what he's talking about. So don't be confused. Like, the Saints haven't answered their tight end problem because Taysom's playing tight end. He's playing the Taysom role. And Sean Payton even elaborated a bit more on the challenges of having Taysom Hill play backup quarterback.
I think these next 4 years, he stays healthy. You're going to see this guy narrowing in more at that position. And because he's not at quarterback as much, you're going to see him on the field more in the kicking game. One of the challenges when Taysom was the 2 was, look, if you're dressing 2 quarterbacks, it's hard to run your backup quarterback down the field on all 4 core special teams. On any play, his right pinky finger could go sideways, and then he can't play quarterback.
I think it did. Didn't he bust his finger up real bad maybe last year?
Oh, he's had a concussion. It's just the way he plays. So you had to understand what his role was in that game. And so the challenge sometimes when you lost the player ahead of him, Taysom became the 2, and you lost 2 players. You lost Breeze, for instance, and then you lost Taysom Hill that was playing like in an elite level special teams player.
It's one of the reasons why I am more bullish on this Saints offense than a lot of other people are. I've said it already. You're better right now than you were week 18. You've got a healthy Jameis Winston. You're going to have a healthy offensive line. I realize Teron Armstead in there, but Teron Armstead missed half the season last year anyway. I mean, you were playing Jordan Mills at offensive tackle. It was Mills and Hurst, and I mean Throckmorton. I mean, you just had a mash unit. So you're healthy. You've got Jameis back. You've got Michael Thomas back, and that's the other part we're missing. Like Taysom Hill is back in his Taysom role. He's not playing quarterback. There's no ambiguity. There's no confusion about what he's going to be. He is going to be in that Taysom role this year, which is where he provides his most value. Sean Payton also talked about that.
There's 3 or 4 tight ends in the league with a similar contract that I wouldn't come close to thinking about trading for this player. And that's how much and it's not until you play against them, or it's not until you're in the division or even closer on his team or coaching him that you realize the value.
Sean Payton realizes the value. Pete Carmichael was right there, riding sidecar with Sean Payton for all these years, building the Taysom package and all that sort of stuff. Does Pete Carmichael still see it? They got the player under contract. He's not going to play quarterback. So Pete Carmichael find a way to keep getting Taysom Hill involved in creative ways to keep growing that value. But I love it that there's now a clear, concise vision for what Taysom is going to be, and it's not quarterback. Okay, it's after further review. Quick break. When we come back, no LSU baseball game today in case you missed it. Rain out. They'll reschedule the game against Lamar. Tigers already practiced earlier today. They hit the road tomorrow to Arkansas to take on the Hogs in Fayetteville on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. When we come back, LSU senior Kade Beloso will be with us. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine in, carry out, or delivery via Uber Eats and DoorDash. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Tonight's a great night to get by Pluckers. Here's the slate. You got the NBA play-in. You want to watch? Get by Pluckers. Also, Major League Baseball. Got a favorite team, out-of-market games that you can't see? You can watch every single game. If you love the Rockies for some reason, if you're just a diehard Mariners fan, if you can't breathe without Blue Jays baseball, you can watch all 162 at Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Bluebonnet location, by the way, has that screen. It's 8 foot by 13 foot. Oh, it's incredible. It's at Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet, every Tuesday, kids eat free. So get the whole family together and make a night of it at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine and carry out. Pluckers, you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
Spring clean your garage with a newer pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota, where you never pay over MSRP. There's no markups, no gains. So reserve yours today. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 7 have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
And now Braden Jobert will be pinch hit for, and this is Kade Beloso, and this is his first at bat, I believe, Ben.
You're right. Since the injury, which was happened like minutes before the first game of the season, just a freak accident.
And the crowd recognizes Kade Beloso coming to the plate for the first time this year.
One of the cool moments of this 2022 season, last week during the midweek game, we got to see Kade Beloso get a pinch hit AB against Grambling. Allowed out too, man, to left center. Kade Beloso is good enough to join us now on the show. Kade, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely our pleasure. Hey, let me start with last week getting the AB against Grambling. Look, you've had a lot of ABs in your career, man. What was that one like? That walk to the plate?
Yeah, that walk was a little different, man. Just a lot of nerves going on. It was a midweek game against Grambling. There's like maybe 50 people in the stands, and I was nervous. I'm not the nervous type, but just a lot of emotions walking up to that plate. That one definitely, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. That one definitely meant a little more than your average at bat, but it just felt amazing.
Hey man, I want to. I don't know that you've even done any interviews since the injury. Can we go back and talk about that? I mean, it's so bizarre. I mean, you're in the opening day lineup, you're going to be DHing, and then we've all heard the story like hype huddle. Yet, what happened?
Yeah, so I mean, it was the weirdest thing. I was just getting the boys fired up before the game. Just done it, 5 or 3 or 4 times before the season. We all kind of just do a little jump, and someone's foot got caught under mine. I kind of stepped on somebody's foot. And knee just buckled in a little bit, and I kind of felt something, not necessarily pop, but it didn't feel normal. And I went to warm up the right footer because, like you said, I was playing that game, and I was DHing. And Barry threw me a ball because he was playing right field that game, I believe, and he threw me a ball to my left. And as soon as I planted on that foot, it just gave out, and then that's when I felt the initial pop, and I was like, yeah, something's probably not right. Kept trying to walk it off, and it just kept buckling on me. So I was like, yeah, this is probably not good.
Oh man! So, did you? I'm sure you went and got an MRI. Did you ever get a?
Yeah.
What was the diagnosis?
Yeah, I got an MRI the next morning with Dr. Fields, who's our team doctor. Diagnosis is torn ACL, just completely shattered. He said it was in 3 different pieces.
Oh my God!
Which is not funny. I'm laughing, but it's just one of those things.
Man, I know it's good that you have a degree of levity about it, and I mean it's.
Right.
It's all the things that when you hear knee injury, you hear, but that everybody who watches sports, your brain just immediately goes to that. That's just what you think. You don't want to say it,
right?
But if you got it confirmed, so man, you know what's crazy too, Kade? We saw Elko from Ole Miss slug homers last year on a torn ACL.
100%.
So take me from then, right? You get the diagnosis to last week when you're taking an AB, man. What have you been doing?
Well, I tell you, it's been a long road. It hasn't always been pretty. There's been a lot of ups and downs. That a lot of like I said, a lot of ups and downs that comes with the rehab and, physical therapy process. Basically, as soon as it happened, my knee was really swollen. And basically you have to get the swelling out of your knee before you can further evaluate it and see what's going on, like, in terms of like your rehab process. So it took me about a week and a half to really get the swelling all the way out. And I got it drained a couple times, which is very weird. I don't know if you ever got anything drained in your body before, but
yeah, actually.
Would recommend it. It's this massive thick needle that they just stick in your knee and drain out a bunch of blood. So basically it did that. And then, Dr. Field, just kept meeting with him every week. And he basically told me that, I had two options. I could, rehab for 4 to 6 weeks and then see if we can play, or I could just get surgery immediately. But they recommend you do like a prehab, which is like a pre-surgery rehab just to get the knee strong before that. So I was doing it, and I ended up feeling pretty good. Excelling in that process, faster than anyone really thought or expected. So I, just thought that I could play, rehab on it. Talked to Tim Elko too. I've been talking to him every day, since it happened. He's such a, great guy. He, obviously everybody knows he's a great player, but, he's a really, really solid dude. And you really appreciate him, and just started hitting with all of our coaches. And, Corey Couture, our trainer, was just watching, just making sure I was fine and all that stuff. And then, running was the last step in the rehab. And I've been running for about a month and a week now. And it started with like a zero gravity machine, just like putting weight on it and like taking weight off to see how your knee reacts. Like, is there swelling, all this other stuff, and then basically to see if like taking a swing and then running out of the box, just like you do in that bat. And that's where we're at now. So it's been, I think, almost 2 months.
Yeah, man. So Kade Beloso is our guest. So where are you like physically limited? Like whenever you're trying to run, like what's still challenging for you?
Going like backpedaling is pretty challenging. I can run forward. I can act like I'm running out of double. I can base run. So basically I'm not limited any like baseball specific things. I mean, obviously I'm not going to like play the field and stuff like that. Cause like the ACL, it helps you like to cut and stuff like that. So like if it would be like a football player would be running like a route and they run like a post and they cut, like that's where that ligament comes in. So I can't really cut as well as I used to right now. Yeah. So it's like a lot of running straight and it's like doubles and stuff like that.
Well, and I mean the good news is they weren't really counting on you for like pinch running, stealing bases, legging a single into a double, maybe legging out that triple. So probably, you're kind of like Elko, right? Just mash one and go into your trot sort of thing.
100%, yeah. I'm not going to, run out triples. So like you said, run out infield singles. Like it's either going to be a single, something's got to happen for me to hit a double. It's got to be crushed, or it's going to be a home run or out. So your choices are limited.
So what have your conversations with Jay Johnson been about what your role could be on this team the rest of the way?
I mean, we haven't really talked about specifically a role. He's been talking to me throughout this whole process, just how much he appreciates my work ethic and how much he respects me for, just being such a positive influence, even when, one of the worst things that could happen in sports happens to you, how I show up to the field every day with smile on my face, just impacting and being a leader. And then on top of that, trying to get back and play for our team and for our teammates and stuff like that. It just tells me to keep working hard and stuff like that. But basically he just told me to, be ready to hit whenever my name's called upon. He's asked about me running and stuff like that. So he obviously watches my swing every day. So
yeah, man. What's it been like watching? I mean, look, you have the injury. Braden Jobert pinch hits. He's had he gets the spot start. He's had a really good start to the season. What's it been like watching him step into that role and have the success that he's had?
I mean, it's been awesome. He's everybody knows he's a great player, but he's one of those guys who's a great person as well. He super positive about everything. The kid works really hard. It's just been awesome to see him excel and, see him come into that spotlight and just absolutely crush it. He's been one of our best hitters this year, and, he comes through in the clutch moments in the games at his highest. So super happy for Joe Bear. The kid's been a LSU fan his whole life. There's a bunch of us on our team that are like that, that you just grow up LSU fans. you dream of this moment. You dream of putting on the purple jersey, the gold jersey, playing in front of all the fans. And just to know that and to see him excel, it's been awesome. He's really helped our team out a lot.
Got a couple more minutes here with Kade Beloso, good enough to join us. Tigers heading to Arkansas. And give me an idea of what the vibe is like coming off the sweep of Mississippi State, where, man, I can't imagine. And listen, I mean, you've been around long enough to have been through some really, really high highs and some lows in the program. I mean, you hang around long enough, you're going to go through those. So kind of give me a sense, put this into perspective for me, what it was like coming off the weekend loss to Auburn, and then what it's like now going to Arkansas, knowing you got a chance to take the lead in the West.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never want to lose a game. Like, we go into every game, preparing to win, but, I mean, the vibe wasn't too terribly low against Auburn. We were just, that much more motivated to get back on the win train and stuff like that. I would say, like, we were super hungry against Mississippi State. Like, we wanted to win so bad. I thought we played great baseball all weekend, give or take like a couple plays here and there, a couple innings throughout the 3 games. But overall, I would say we played really, really good. And the vibes were good, but, I mean, they weren't too high. I think everyone's starting to realize, like, the type of team that we could be, and I think that makes them even more motivated, to get to go on the road against Arkansas, which is, another great environment. Another team in our division they're a really good team. They're just, they play good baseball, but we're really motivated to go in there and, play our brand of baseball and, win some games.
Yeah, it's an awesome opportunity this weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, LSU at Arkansas, 3-game series. The lead in the West is up for grabs for Kade Beloso and the Tigers as they head up to Fayetteville. Hey, before you go, man, you and I have had a chance with a couple of different entities do some NIL work together as well. What's it been like for you and for the baseball guys in the NIL space? I mean, I just referenced it. You've been around a while, so you've seen a lot, right? So you have a good perspective on things like this.
Yeah, I mean, the baseball guys definitely get some love. It's kind of cool seeing, like, all the different deals that players on our team kind of have. A bunch of guys do, like, Lit Pizza, Izzo, stuff like that. Cade Doty and Trey Morgan did, or they have Gordon, so they're on a billboard right now, which is super cool. A bunch of us did Game Coin, which I thought was super unique and stuff like that. Just seeing everybody else's deals are cool. I think it's good. It's just another way to, enhance your brand and, just, I guess, make some money if you want to take it that route. But, no, it's been cool.
Cade is also a Hudco hometown hero, and I love the fact that Hot Rod's with us as well. You can check out Hudco. Look, of course I'll shout out my company, HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. Go check out the Hudco Hometown Heroes link. You'll see Cade's picture up there as well. Do you think that ultimately NIL opportunities could keep – look, we talk about the 11.7 so much and about signing bonus money is such a pull for guys to sign. Do you think NIL could have more high school guys end up on campus and more college guys stick around longer?
I mean, yeah, potentially you could, because, like, it depends on, like, what a high school guy's signing for, out of high school with the draft. I mean, some people could potentially match that in college, just getting, I don't know if that's like what a high school kid would like, if that's what their, values are. It's like, I want money. Like, I'm sure it could happen, but I think it could definitely have an impact. Yeah. Like, more kids are going to come to college, and then more guys can stay around just because, like, just another year of LSU, another year of being on the baseball team and all the stuff that comes with that. And then, on top of that, enhancing your brand, making some money with NIL, stuff like that.
He is Kade Beloso, Tiger Senior. Man, amazing show of determination to get back on the field. We're looking forward to seeing you out there swinging it again soon, man. Good luck this weekend up in Fayetteville, and thanks for spending a couple of minutes, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
It's our pleasure. That is Kade Beloso. This is after further review. As I mentioned, Cade was one of the Game Coin athletes. You all know, I mean, full disclosure here, that I'm on the Game Coin board, and it was awesome to be able to do that deal. I mean, there's no company here that spent more money on NIL deals with LSU athletes than Game Coin. I mean, the entire men's and women's basketball team, the Tiger Girls dance team, the gymnasts, the baseball team, dozens of football players. And Cade was one of the guys to deal with GameCoin as well. But I'm going to be fascinated to see, because I really think there's going to be an opportunity for a lot of these guys to pass on a draft opportunity and a signing bonus if there's NIL opportunities there. And especially with what we learned late last week with NIL being now available to high school athletes. If you're a high school senior and you're looking at a $100,000 signing bonus that you don't think you could pass up, I mean, look, if you're talking about seven figures, that may be different. But if you're a kind of a player that's in that marginal $100,000, $200,000 signing bonus range, and you're thinking about taking the money, you know, there's the possibility that there's NIL opportunities out there for you that could keep you in college, or that could have you show up on campus if those opportunities are there. Yeah, I will shout out Hudco, of course. Cade's dad, Hot Rod, Rodney Beloso, works with us at Hudco as well. HudcoRoofing.com. Our NIL deal at Hudco, we call it Hudco Hometown Heroes. So the way we've structured it is that anybody that hires us to do a roof repair, replacement, soft wash, anything, you hire Hudco, we'll take a portion of the net and we'll dedicate it to an NIL deal with the athlete of the homeowner's choosing. So you hire us to do your roof, we'll take a portion of the net. You say you want us to do a deal with Kade Beloso, boom, we'll take a portion of that net. We'll do a deal with Kade Beloso as a Hudco hometown hero, or any athlete from any sport in any school. It doesn't matter. This gives every athlete, no matter the sport or the school, the opportunity to get an NIL deal. We've already done dozens of these, so it's awesome the way it's structured. Some of them are players like Micah Baskerville and Jack Besh and Dylan Cruz, and some of them maybe not, like Jordan Jackson, a defensive back at Nichols, or Brennan Lambert, a baseball player at Tulane. So that's the way we've structured it at Hudco. We love to be able to do those deals. HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you all the time, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. I'm going to knock out a quick break. When we come back, I want to jump back into some LSU football talk. Brian Kelly, I want to delve deeper into some of what Brian Kelly had to say coming out of that second scrimmage from this past Saturday about where the roster is right now, some of the things that he likes. And then also, I loved what we got to hear from Greg Brooks, the transfer safety from Arkansas, about coming home to Louisiana. You'll hear all that. We'll react to it when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. At Rouse's, they say, this feels like home. Well, you walk in and you understand why. I love walking into a Rouse's. You walk into a Rouse's, it does feel like home. And I love the fact that their selection's amazing. It feels really welcoming and warm. Honestly, y'all, I love that when I go into a Rouse's, they got cashiers at every cash register. Which is so novel in these days, but it's true. I love that. And, of course, they go the extra mile to help make things convenient for you. Curbside pickup is available. They also offer delivery. So if you go to the website at rouses.com, you want your groceries delivered, maybe you're not getting out because of COVID or you can't, go to rouses.com, hit the delivery and pickup tab right there on the top, and get all the info you need at rouses.com. Rouses.com, the official supermarket of LSU Athletics, is Rouses.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pop?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And
This year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Yep. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The Dreams Come True Radiothon is presented today by Home Bank, Louisiana Land Bank, and Lucky Law Firm. Donate today at 1045ESPN.com.
So LSU had its second full scrimmage of spring on Saturday. Afterwards, Brian Kelly met with the media, as did select players. One of them was Greg Brooks, the New Orleans area native who started his career at Arkansas. You all know the story. Transferred to LSU along with Joe Fouché, another New Orleans area guy who is going to finish his career in the purple and gold. I loved this. On last week, Greg Brooks tweeted, "Best decision I ever made." That was the tweet. And he basically backed that up Saturday after practice when he told the media this.
You know, I'm loving being back home. You know, it's, seeing my family, every other weekend and stuff like that. I just love it. I'm adjusting to practice really well, and I'm loving it.
One of the things Brian Kelly intentionally did, and he said this so many times, was he wanted to recruit guys with ties to Louisiana. We all know the story. Kelly inherited a team with 39 scholarship players in the bowl game. It was a mess. Roster management was non-existent, in shambles, and he had to find guys that were going to buy in. When you change a whole coaching staff and you're changing culture and all that sort of stuff, it's so important to have guys that want to be here. They're going to be more eager to listen and to react to what you're saying. So you go get these guys that grew up dreaming of playing for LSU and playing in Tiger Stadium, even guys that were team captains at another SEC school that say, "I'm going to go home, dog." It just means more. Not to steal the line from the SEC, no pun intended, but it does. It means more to those guys to be able to play in his home state. And you're going to get more buy-in from those guys. Brian Kelly on Saturday talked about those two guys in particular, Fouché and Brooks, and what they've meant.
Yeah, I'd say first and foremost, really good communicators, good leaders, and physical. I think that's what they bring immediately. There's going to be both those guys are athletic. They're going to be around the football. They're going to arrive with a bad attitude when it comes to, the collisions. And like you mentioned, they're veteran players. So, immediately you get older and you get, guys that have played a lot of football on your defense when you add those two guys.
And as far as Brooks, he was asked what the message has been from the coaching staff.
They harping on building character, building a lot of discipline, and I like that. Good discipline teams win a lot of games. As you can see at Notre Dame, he's been to the playoff every year. So, I feel like he's bringing in a lot of stuff for us, and I feel like we're going to do good with it.
It continues to just be reinforced so many times when you listen to coaches or you listen to players. And so many times players will give you a glimpse into what's being said behind closed doors, meetings room, team rooms, all this stuff, when they're all saying the same thing. And sometimes buzzwords or key phrases. And when you keep hearing all these players talked about character and discipline, like that's what they're not preaching run a fast 40 or catch the football. I mean, all that's important, and it's going to come, and it has to. But right now, it is about changing culture, and they're doing it with guys that want to be here. Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché are certainly among them. Now, Brian Kelly. Now, look, the other thing, too, play this one real quick, Muse, if you would. Greg Brooks was asked which receiver so far has been the hardest for him to guard. Listen to his answer.
Which of the wide receivers has been the hardest for you to handle?
Malik Neighbors. By far, we go at it every day. Me and him, him and Jack Best are the only two people I want to go against every day.
Malik Neighbors, Jack Best. Keep in mind, that's not even your best receiver, Kayshon Boutte, who's not practicing right now. That's not Brian Thomas, who some have said looks like a man-child out there right now in spring. That's not including Chris Hilton, who Brian Kelly has singled out as being massively athletic. And I mean, there are spots on this roster. There's spots where LSU is very deep and talented. I think the second at safety, that's a spot. The receiver group, undeniably. There's giant question marks on this team as well that they got to figure out. And this coaching staff is talented, knows what they're doing, and they will to the best of their ability. But there are spots where there's reason for optimism. One where you're wondering a little bit is running back. But everyone continues to rave about John Emery. And Brian Kelly did that on Saturday as well.
It's really about, John being in a better place mentally than it is physically. I think he's not as distracted. He's focused on what's most important, and what is most important is his academics and football. And I'm really proud of the progress that he's made since my short time here and making that happen. And I think I think we're going to see him play for us this fall because of that. And that's all on him, right? He had to make that decision, and good for him.
I'll disclose this. Through some NIL deals, there are some people that marketing people that want to push some athletes out to do media, which I totally understand. And I was approached about having John Emery on the show, which of course I'm open to. So I was put on a text thread with John Emery, and we're trying to work out a time to come on the show. And his response to me initially was, I'd love to come on the show, but my schedule is very busy organizing school and football practice. He's like, we'll make it happen in time with some dates that make sense. But his reaction was basically school. And I think you're looking at a guy that has matured throughout his career to understand you come in as a 5-star, you have these grand expectations, and you had a season taken away from you because you didn't handle your business in the classroom. And listen, we've talked about whose fault that could be, and I think there's a lot of ways where you can place blame. But what matters most is that guy's eligible and on the field for LSU this fall and makes the most of that season for him so he can go play at the next level. And it seems like he's on that path. Brian Kelly said the same thing. There's a lot. You can see progress being made. How many wins does that convert to this fall? I don't know. We'll see. And there's still a long way to go. But it feels like the ship is pointing in the right direction and is moving that way. No matter how slow, it doesn't matter. It's progressing toward its target. If you stay on that track, you're going to get there eventually. And I think this team will, and this program will, under Brian Kelly. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador, Caffrey, and Lafayette. Online at theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com. Tell you every day about hormone replacement therapy. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. Don't be scared or intimidated by the sound of that if you're not familiar. I didn't know either. but I learned, and how important it's been for me in my life. No matter what your age is, we all age differently. It's just part of the process. As we age, all of us, our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. You want to feel better? Sometimes you don't even know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. That was certainly the case with me. There's a guy in my mid-30s who was just completely drained and depleted and didn't even know it. But I feel great now. I feel more youthful. I'm more energetic. I sleep well at night. I wake up with energy. And they can help you as well. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. You want to get Beachbody ready? Lots of great options. If it's Ideal Protein, if it's VeloShape, which is non-invasive body contouring, check it out at theantiagingclinics.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com. All right, it's after further review, y'all. We'll grab our final break of the show. When we come back, Jimmy will be here for a little Otter Locks. Got to make amends. Otter was 0 for 2 yesterday. Maybe he needs. It's what do they say? Like, well, it's the early season for the Otter as well in baseball. Like they say, oh, it's the preseason for the refs as well. It's early season for the Otter. Got to get him on track. But thankfully, we've got play in tonight, so we'll get some NBA picks from the Otter, I'm certain. All right, it's after further review, and if you haven't seen it yet, Ed Ogeron went and spoke to the Notre Dame football team and told them that they're going to win a national championship. Want to bet? It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River Cities 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River Cities 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow trucks and vans with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town. You can't miss them because they've served our area for 40 years, and so many thousands of residents in our greater Baton Rouge area trust River Cities 1 Hour Air just like I do, just like Bill Feig does. He sent a 5-star review that says, Bobby was very knowledgeable about the situation, explained my options, repaired the HVAC, cleaned it, then did a heater cooling system clean and check as well. I appreciate the expertise and efficiency that was delivered. So many positive reviews just like that one. Read the reviews. Go to Facebook, go to Google, read the reviews. You'll see how many customers are thrilled, just like I've been for years. River Cities 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Look what I found! The motivation I needed to live healthy. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why. Have you found yours?
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Bocage Barbershop in Bocage Village. Serving the Bocage, Goodwood, and Town Center area since 1959.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
A little bruised up from last night. That was a disaster.
Little
Hey,
0 for 2 piece. Yeah, man.
Real quick, Mets are just throwing up first pitch. So in-game, you can still get the odds. Get the Mets plus $1.25. The great thing about in-game. So Mets plus 25 against the Phillies here. It was a tough loss for them last night.
All right, Mets plus 125. All right, I like that. All right, what else are we looking at tonight? Man, you like any play-in action?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I like both of them. And this line has, it's so interesting this year because the Nets could be one of the top seeds. I mean, they are a shorter odds to win the East than the first and second seeds. And we know they can turn it on at any time. I just wonder about their lack of defensive. They just look disinterested in playing any type of defense. Cleveland, we know about their injuries. It has hurt them. They limped it down the stretch. But this line is going from 8.5 to 9.5, and it's all Cleveland action. 2/3 of the action, actually more than that, 70% of the action on Brooklyn. Love to call them New Jersey. Brooklyn.
It's only been about a decade, Otter. No big.
Yeah, I'm thinking that one. Now, the late one I like even more. I'm going with the home
Wait, so
team
real quick, I'm sorry. You like Cleveland?
Cleveland plus the 9.5,
All right.
5 to 10, yes.
All right.
Okay. And then home team in the late one, Paul George has looked good since they come back. But that's another big public play. 83% of the action on the LA Clippers. They're not the New Jersey Clippers, are they? The Buffalo Braves, maybe. But anyway, I have seen a 2.5 out there. And I've seen some leans, 3 and 3 minus 105. So more Clippers action might go down to 2.5. At Bet Rivers, it's 3. So
I'm looking
3.
I'm looking at 3.5 minus 105. You think I should buy
3.5? No. You got to wait.
Okay.
That's the only 3.5 anywhere. That's going to come back down.
Okay.
That's going to come back down. 2.5, get it now. 3 minus 105, maybe. But no, wait. If you got anything like that, at 3.5, or if you lay in 3 with any juice. Got a late baseball game for you tonight as well.
Okay.
The Houston Astros, Garcia against Zach Gallen. So Astros are putting up the runs. We're going to go on the road, lay a number. I know we don't like to lay the numbers too much. We're going to hook it up in a parlay. We're going good. I remember one time we took a baseball trip, me, the Little Prince, and Hanny. We took a bus trip to Houston. And we were in the right center field beer garden, and they were playing now. He's been hard. Well, you should have seen Hanny with the hat, with the beer. Prince is clapping him on. The whole bit. The eyes of Texas. I don't know, but we had a good old time.
That's deep in the heart of Texas.
Yes, Astros are a tad bit better than back then. There were only 37 games out when we made that bus trip. But anyway, we had a good time. Astros in Texas. Texas, tough luck loser in their opener. their home opener. They bounce back tonight against the Colorado Rockies. Well,
Hey, that Texas. Wait, is that a money line? Are those money line or run lines?
Both money line parlay.
A money line parlay. Right. Houston and the Texas Rangers. All right, he is the Otter. Where are you tonight, Otter?
We are at Joe's East Place. Tomorrow, we get a special broadcast. We'll be at the Bet Rivers Chairman Club in the ground level of the Smoothie King Center. We in the blender.
Ooh, in the blender. Yes, sir. All right, Otter, have a great show. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, that'll do it. If you can't listen in Baton Rouge online at 1045ESPN.com, Otter's X Muso. Paulie, thanks. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com, changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, and GMFSmortgage.com. Listen, we're all looking for ways right now to save money or to make money. How about you give yourself a raise? You could do that without having to go knock on your boss's door and ask for a raise. You can just call GMFS Mortgage. You own your home, think about a refi. Refinance your mortgage. We're talking about historically low interest rates. Been telling you about them for years. Earlier this month, for the first time in 3 years, the Fed bumped interest rates. They're still at historically low levels, but they're not going to last. So take advantage of them now. What if you could lower your monthly mortgage payment? It's like giving yourself a raise. Skip a payment or two when you go through closing. It's worth it. Call GMFS Mortgage. Log on to the website. Tap the Loan Officers tab. Find a loan officer near you. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives.
Spring clean your garage with the newer pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota. It's an easy process to pre-order your next vehicle with us. So reserve yours today. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of